Good morning, Crystal Palace, and welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub's Library Lunch. My name's Galina.Rin. Eleanor is not with us this morning because today is her library lunch day off. Hooray! This is our program connecting you to the local community, telling you about the local businesses, what's happening on the Triangle, all the events, all the live streams. We're here for you. We are here for you. Not in the library, obviously, for now. But maybe soon. Maybe soon. We have a lovely guest for you this morning. His name is David Shopland. Hello, how are you doing,
Hello.
sir? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no
Great to
worries.
be here.
So for all the folks at home who've probably never heard of you because, you work in theatre and whatnot, and not everyone knows everybody. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to just restart that whole sentence because that was a terrible, terrible intro. Who are you and what do you do?
So I am. I guess I kind of, for ease, just call myself a theatre maker because I do a bit of producing, writing, directing, design the posters sometimes. Pretty much, a one-stop theatre shop, really. Used to be a performer a long time ago, but kind of retired, shall we say, from acting back in about 2011, I think. So it's been a fair old while since I properly acted, but kind of the other side of the desk now.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Do you consider? I mean, can that be considered a polymath? Having those so many skills.
I mean, polymath, jack of all trades, maybe. Don't know. But yeah, it's funny. I used to have a few years ago had a bit of a kind of quarter life crisis and thought, should I pick one? What's the thing I love doing more than the other? But what do I really want to do? And then I got talking to another producer who kind of said something that really stuck with me. And he sort of said, well, a career is only a career in retrospect. You don't know what that career is moving forward in life. So, life, it's just a collection of different jobs that you do. And then when you get a lot older, you look back over it and that's your career, but you can't kind of manufacture that as you go as much as you try. And so, why, if you enjoy doing all those things at different times, there's no reason that you need to kind of pick one. So I guess I feel, a lot more comfortable kind of saying I do a bit of this and a bit of that now than I used to. But yeah.
Well, I think in this current climate, that is very beneficial to be able to just flip wherever you want to go as soon as something comes up, I guess. We have Daniel. I'll just take a wee second to say that Daniel has said hello to you.
Hello, Daniel.
So if anybody's out there watching, I can see there's a few of you. You need to let us know in the comments because we cannot see your names. Facebook does not allow that kind of familiarity with us anymore now that they've updated everything, the cheeky mares. So where did you get your start from, David? Where did you start? Where'd you start from? Let's start at the beginning. Start right at the beginning.
Very good place to start. I guess I've always kind of known that I was going to be in theatre in some form or another. There are very embarrassing videos that my parents own of me at about 3 years old, directing my parents and my sister in a production of Grease that was premiered in our living room in about 1992. And I was very angry that they weren't taking it seriously. So that's it's always kind of been there. And I used to do, wear ridiculous costumes all the time as a kid. I had this huge dressing up box and was always kind of playing and making things. And also art, a big part of kind of my early life, a lot of drawing and things like that. So I was always kind of had that creative bent. And I guess I semi kind of grew up around it or adjacent to it, at least. My grandfather was a kind of jobbing actor his whole life. Never really made it kind of big at all. But he actually used to share a flat with Sean Connery, which is pretty cool. And he actually still, my grandfather passed away many years ago now, but Sean Connery never paid him back for a motorcycle they bought together. But quite a funny story. And then my dad was, he worked in publishing and he published a lot of, with Methuen, who do a lot of plays. So he worked a lot with Patrick Marber and other kind of playwrights in a publishing capacity. So I kind of was surrounded by the theatre world, and my mother's an artist, a writer, and things like that as well. So yeah, I guess it was always there. And then yeah, I thinking initially I was going to be an actor. I went to drama school, went to Rose Bruford College back in 2008. And then kind of those 3 years at drama school really made me realize that what I really wanted to do was write and direct and produce and make things rather than kind of be in things. I kind of had I guess a sort of light bulb moment, a bit of an epiphany when I was lucky enough to be cast in a national tour of Lord of the Flies straight out of drama school. And I remember about half, it was about a 10-week tour, mainly in Scotland and a few English dates as well. And about halfway through the tour, we were in tech, setting up for the show that evening. And I realized I was on stage going, those lights don't feel like they're focused quite right. I think he stood too far downstage. And I wasn't thinking about my character at all. And I was completely thinking about the look of the show. And that's when I went, yeah, you're not an actor, you're a director, you're a maker. But yeah.
No, that's cool. I think you do have to know what the several jobs that you're managing in these areas are. Like it's difficult to produce a show, I'd imagine, if you don't know what it's like to be an actor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've met and worked with several kind of directors who have come through maybe a stage management background or kind of come through doing something completely unrelated and going directly into directing. And it is interesting the difference in terms of their kind of their approach to, I guess, the kind of actor coaching part of being a director when you haven't had that experience of being on the other side of it. I mean, I like to think of myself as being quite collaborative. I'm not particularly proscriptive as a director. I will never ever give a line reading if I direct a show, which does annoy some actors sometimes because can you just tell me how you want me to say the line? But I like giving freedom to actors because I know when I was an actor, that's what I liked, having the ability to kind of put my own stamp on things. And also, I just think as a director, you don't know how that person feels in their body, how that person speaks with their voice, how no one really knows best how to portray that person other than the actor that's kind of cast in it. So I just think, let them do that work. And I'm much more of a kind of, I guess, visual director. So I kind of let the actors do the work and I kind of paint the pictures on with the staging and locking and things like that. Yeah.
Cool. And what was your last project, I guess, before the things that we will talk about?
So I mean, I guess it kind of. I mean, no time was ever going to be a good time for for this situation to happen. But I guess in terms of that, I didn't have anything immediately on the horizon. I didn't have. I mean, a couple of small things did have to be cancelled or postponed, but it wasn't like I had any big productions that have had to shut down or anything like that. So actually, it's been quite. One of the positives, the few positives to come out of it, is it's given myself and my writing partner, Callum Hughes, who you had on here, I think a couple of weeks ago, it's given us a lot of time in those first few months of the lockdown to finish writing alone. We had 3 or 4 projects that were either in first or second drafts or half finished or things like that. So we managed to spend April, May, June kind of just going through all our current shows, past shows that we're rewriting. We revisited a pilot of a sitcom that we did about, I think, back in 2012, and we'd not looked at for about 7 or 8 years. So that was really nice to kind of revisit old stuff. So yeah, I mean, the last project I did properly was I produced a one-woman show that was written and performed by actress and comedian Roanne McCloskey, who actually she did a preview at the library last July, I think, or June, and then we took it to Edinburgh Fringe last year, and did a kind of couple of dates, and I guess we were hoping to maybe do some further dates with that this year, but everything kind of obviously closed down, it didn't happen, but but it is going to the Lawrence Batley Theatre in Huddersfield on the 24th of October, I believe. So it'll be interesting to revisit that show after, I think, 13 months was the last time she did it. So yeah, that's quite cool. But it's really about stuff in the pipeline at the moment, and fingers crossed, lots of exciting things for next year. But we shall see.
But you guys have a podcast, don't you? Did I remember
We
Callum
do.
said
We
something about
do.
a podcast?
We do. That's one thing that has kept us going as well throughout lockdown. So yeah, we started a Jonathan Creek podcast. So we did went through every episode of Jonathan Creek from the very beginning in '97 through to the last special they did, I think, in 2016. So that was we started that before we started that kind of tail end of last year, December, I think, and we only finished it about a month ago. We did one a week, but during lockdown, we started a Patreon service where people can donate £5 a month, and they can request us to do a podcast on literally anything, which has been interesting because it really has been very wide ranging. We've done a podcast on the conspiracy that Charles Manson was programmed by the CIA to kill Sharon Tate. We've done ones on like really bad 90s movies. We've done ones on what our top 5 favorite song intros and outros are. So it literally is, if anyone has any ideas, they could just donate, and we will do it. And we try to go at least an hour with every single one. But yeah.
What's that called? Because I know it's like it's something to do with macabre, and it's spelled.
Yeah, so it's a podcast with an E on the end, macabre. It's a nod to Dance Macabre, which is the theme tune of Jonathan Creek. So it's PODCASTE macabre. And yeah, that's our handle on Twitter and Facebook and all the rest of it, and Patreon as well. If you do have £5 to spare and want us to do a podcast on like the weirdest, most specific thing you can think of, then do, and we have to do it.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm just trying to Google the link for it, and I can't find it. I'm obviously spelling it wrong. I'm obviously just terrible. I'm just terrible at spelling it wrong. So yeah, you'll just have to go and find it.
Absolutely, yeah. Or if you type in Callum and David's any requests as well into Google, it should come up with our Patreon. But yeah, and then so that's been a really fun kind of hobby that's actually ended up getting quite a lot of traction, and we've got listeners weirdly all around the world. We can see on our analytics, and it's crazy. We've got people listening in Saudi Arabia, in South Africa, and all over China, all over everywhere. So it's been really cool that it's kind of taken off in the way it has, and we've had. Yeah, we expected it would just be kind of our mates that would listen to it, and we've had loads of emails and things and contact from just random Jonathan Creek fans. So yeah, it's been really good.
Well, it is a great series. I mean, yeah, it's a great series. I loved that series. That and Lovejoy were my two favorite.
Yeah.
I Lovejoy.
Lovejoy one.
So you've been some shows for us, obviously. I mean, you've just been. We kept you busy. So before we go into those, have you been doing other live stream things as well as our one?
No. I mean, it's still sort of getting to grips with all that kind of the world of things. I mean, I'm very much in the theatre world as opposed to kind of film or TV or anything kind of on screen. So it's been a bit of a shock to the system, because I'm very much used to kind of live things with audiences being there. In fact, a big kind of thing of what I do is immersive theatre. So I'm very used to not just having an audience sitting down, but actually an audience in and amongst and around people. So it's been quite a learning curve. But the sessions at the library, the West End sessions Daniel's been doing, it's been amazing. I mean, Make Them Hear You that we did back at the end of July, I think was the first one that Callum and I emceed for, and it was just so lovely to be back in, although there wasn't an audience there, and obviously everything was socially distanced and following all the guidelines and stuff, it was still just lovely to be in a room full of people doing theatre and making theatre, and it, since whatever beginning of March. So yeah, really, really lovely. It's been and yeah, absolutely credit to Daniel and the library and everyone else and yourself who's made it kind of possible and made it happen, because it's been, yeah, really cool, and very much looking forward to the Halloween Spooktacular on the 31st of October.
Yeah. Are you going to be pulling out any special bits for this one? Now
Well,
that you're an old hand.
Daniel has had a very interesting idea of what he wants me to dress as, which I'll keep under wraps for now. But yeah, if we can make that work, that should be a lot of fun.
No, amazing.
Yeah.
So do you, if people want to get in contact with you, if they want to, I'm assuming there's some services that you are that they could come to you with if they had an idea. I mean, I'm writing checks for your business this year.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. If anyone's looking for any, freelance producing or in need of any plays or scripts, Callum and I have got some lying around. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm two kind of main focuses. One is a musical Callum and I have been working on for some time called Into Thin Air, which is the story of D.B. Cooper, true story of those who don't know, about a guy that 1971 in America jumped out of a plane with $250,000 and was never found again. They never found his body. The money never turned up in circulation. He just kind of disappeared, and obviously that wasn't his real name, and no one knows actually who the guy was. So
did he jump out of a commercial flight? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's I mean, I think and a series of Prison Break, I think, based something around it. Like it's been, in fact, originally Mad Men, Don Draper, the original idea was meant to be D.B. Cooper, but
okay.
The creator of Mad Men said that too many people worked it out too early on, so he had to change it because everyone was expecting it to be him. So he's kind of been in and around sort of pop culture, especially in America, for a long time. But yeah, we wrote a short play about it about 5 years ago, and then as I was directing it, I just said to Cam, do you know what? I think this would be a great musical. So about 2.5 years ago, we started writing some songs for it, and we've got about 20 songs now, and we've got the full thing written, and we've got fab people on board. Julie Atherton, who I think was on here a few days ago talking about her art, she's come on board to kind of help us direct the workshop when we're able to do so. And so, yeah, that's really exciting. And then the other thing is I have co-devised a show called Saving Britney, which is a kind of been influenced by the hashtag Free Britney movement, which has been in the news a lot lately. Britney Spears having been under what's called a conservatorship. So her father has kind of been in charge of her whole life, pretty much ever since she had the sort of very publicized kind of breakdown where she shaved her head and all that kind of thing. Ever since then, even if she wants to like vote, she can't unless her dad says so. She can't spend any money unless her dad says so. And so it's a very weird situation. And so I was reading a lot about that and sort of got this idea for a show, and I co-developed it with a phenomenal actress called Shireen Rishbiani, who is absolutely going to be a household name one day because she's really phenomenal and a great writer as well. So we've kind of been collaborating on that together, and she kind of plays this huge uber fan of Britney Spears, and it's all about how their lives have intertwined ever since her first album came out, when the character in the show is kind of a young girl, and how she's kind of been influenced, and how she starts to think that maybe she's the one that needs to save Britney, or has Britney saved her, and all the things that happen in her life. And there's a ton of 90s and early noughties nostalgia thrown in there as well. Everything from Ricicles to Cat Dealey. So there's it's a really good fun show. It's an hour long, and we are hoping that Edinburgh kind of happens next year, because we've got a bit of interest from some venues, and should Edinburgh go ahead, which it's still a long time away, 11 months away. So keeping our fingers crossed, and we're working towards having that up there at the Fringe next year. But we'll be doing some previews as well, and hopefully we'll do one at the library maybe next summer if things are there.
Oh yes. Well, even if they're not, we've always got the live stream channel, which could be everybody's live
Absolutely.
by this time next year.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, maybe presenting it in that format as well. Definitely a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where's the best place for people to contact you if they want to
Yeah,
know more?
so you can. I mean, I'm really bad with social media stuff, but I do check in from time to time. So on Twitter, I'm at David Shopland, all one word. On Instagram, I'm at Shopland88. Facebook, just type in David Shopland, you'll find me. Or you can drop me an email, davidashopland@gmail.com. Anything like that. Yeah, producer, director, writer, need anything like that. Yeah,
Cool.
in touch with that.
And my one last question for you
Yeah,
actually is if somebody, obviously a lot of people are retraining over this time. We are a library, so we try to add a little bit back into the community. If somebody
yeah.
wanted to get into the line of work that you're currently in, where would you start if today was your first day? It was your
Yeah,
first step towards that job.
yeah. I think actually, what you kind of just said is absolutely right. It's about community. It's about, I mean, my theatre education in a lot of ways came from getting involved in my local amateur dramatics group when I was sort of 17 back in Bath where I grew up. And I think, especially, I'm sure a lot of people will be watching this that live in Palace in our local area. And, one of the things I love about Palace is the sense of community. It's a small Cotswolds village in Zone 3 London,
The
which is
history.
one of the things I love about it. So there's so many opportunities, even just locally here within Palace. But if you're watching from further afield, wherever you are, don't go and write to Andrew Lloyd Webber immediately on your first day. Find out what's happening locally. Get involved with kind of the fringe theatre scene. I know there's not a lot happening at the moment, so maybe talk to some of those theatres that are close. See if they're doing anything like you guys are doing at the library with live streaming. I mean, just get out there and make connections. I mean, my talked about my grandfather earlier on. He one of the main reasons why he never really made it, I said he lived with Sean Connery, and him, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Larry Hagman, who was JR on Dallas, obviously, were a little kind of foursome in London back when they were all just doing theatre. Connery and my granddad were in the first South Pacific, I think, in the West End, and they all got invited to a party one night, and my granddad just went, "Nah, I can't really be bothered to go out." And the three of them all went, and they all got signed by an American agent on that one party. And
What? That's
my granddad didn't. So I've taken that to heart kind of my whole life. A lot of people say about this industry, it's about being in the right place at the right time. And so I just say, if that's the case, be in as many places as much of the time as possible, like be in every place at every time as much as you can. Never say no to things, even if you're not kind of feeling like it, or just kind of try. If you really really want to make it in this industry, I think as long as it's kind of not affecting your mental health or anything like that, then get out there and go and socialize and go and meet people and really kind of push yourself to be in as many places as possible.
That is some good
Yeah.
advice. That's great. Thank you very much. I'm just going to run through on the end of our show. We've run completely out of time. We could have been here for the rest of the afternoon, I'll be honest, talking about this. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Thank you.
No worries. So I need to tell you about a couple of things. We have our theatre show has started. Sorry, not the theatre show. Sorry, Crystal Palace Performing Arts is starting this week. So if you've got some children, I think it's up to the age of 16 that want to do some after school theatre activities, then those are on our website, uppernorwoodlibraryhub.org. I will put all this in the in the chat now. As always, Clear Community Web is online to help any folks who need a little bit of help getting onto Zoom or doing shopping, online banking, all that nonsense. Our man Casper is the man with a plan. I can easily help everybody come online. I do have to tell you that the Library Hub is now offering loads of tech services. So if you are perhaps having to do Zoom for work and you have, let me choose my words carefully, your internet is not as good as it could be at home, or perhaps you're coming down with kids over every wall and you just can't get the space to sit and do some work on Zoom. We have some quiet rooms, we have good internet, we have laptops, we have like microphones and all the rest. So all you need to do, if you don't have your own stuff, you can just turn up now. Obviously, you need to book in and hire for a very, very cheap price some technology from us, and we'll talk you through it. And basically, if we have to put it all in front of you and turn it on, we'll do that too, because that's kind of nice people we are. So we do everything from even quiet rooms, voiceover rooms, podcast spaces, all the way up to you performing or running your own conference inside the space itself. We are at a position right now to be able to do some audience, not a lot, some audience shows. I think the max we've had so far is 20. So if you've got an idea for a show, or you want to do some theater, or you want to just get on our live stream channel, maybe you've got maybe you're selling something that you want to advertise, we can now work all this out for you and help you create a show. Maybe we can even get David in if somebody's got some budget. We'll do some theater stuff together as a way of advertising. Who knows? We're not saying no to anything. The Library of Possibilities is here to be used. People, get involved. Amazing. Well, thank you very much, David, for joining us. It was very nice to have you over.
It's been wonderful. Thank you.
And we will obviously see you again on Halloween.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
So 6 p.m. Halloween night, 31st of October. It's a Saturday. Halloween Ryman is probably cancelled anyway. It's probably cancelled. Are you going to send your kids around people's houses? Probably not. So why don't you just come online with us? You can sign up on the event page and you'll get given a notification of that show. Or you can just come on. It will just appear on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook. And it will be an hour of just singing and animations and all the hoo-ha that we've learned to do over this entire period. Well, thank you very much for joining me. And we'll be back tomorrow. Will we be back? Of course we will be back tomorrow. Of course we will. We'll be back tomorrow. Eleanor will be here. She's interviewing someone. I don't know who. I do believe Daniel has completely filled our schedule this week with West End actors, performers, producers, the whole lot. He's a good man, that Daniel. He is the man with all the plans, it does seem. So we'll be back tomorrow with that. All right, guys, have a nice day. Thank you all for joining us. See you later. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.